Hi and welcome back to Arno TV. I'm your lovable host Arno, coming back to you with another video. So, I tell you what I've noticed today. I've noticed that the propaganda machine that the mainstream media are putting out on this national lockdown number 3 that's imminent is in full swing again today. And they have been at this now for weeks. For weeks they've been putting out pieces and stories, drip feeding this idea into everybody's mind that a national lockdown is coming in January. Well, I've noticed again that the Mail, who should have hung their head in shame after the articles that they were putting out yesterday, are at it again, okay, with articles like this. Sage demand all pupils are kept home till February. Scientists demand new national lockdown for kids after Gove says only years 11 and 13 and primary schools will return on January the 4th. Sage has told PM that a tougher lockdown in January with schools closed is the only way to take the R below 1. Michael Gove confirmed staggered reopening of schools in England from Monday, but primaries will open. But in more uncertainty for parents and children, he said the plan remains under review amid union pressure. All secondary schools will be shut apart from children in year 11 and year 13 and for key workers children. Unions want all schools shut for a fortnight to allow for testing. Some claim it could take much longer. Parents in Ofsted concerned for children are being set back years because of substandard online learning. Sage scientists have urged Boris Johnson to impose an even tougher third national lockdown, including keeping all schools closed throughout January to curb the new mutant coronavirus strain, consigning millions of children to substandard online classes for at least a month, it was revealed today. Okay, so, I'm not going to read the whole article, but, you know, they are drip feeding, again, this idea that we're going to be locked down for the whole of January, okay? And that's not the only article that they've been drip feeding this narrative today in the Mail Online, is it? Because they've also put out articles like this today, okay? Hospitals in England on track to have more than 20,000 COVID patients needing treatment on New Year's Eve, as experts warn second wave pressure on NHS is on course to exceed the darkest part of the spring within days. Some 18,227 COVID infected patients were being cared for in hospitals across the nation on Christmas Eve. April 12th was the busiest day of the pandemic so far in England, when 18,974 patients were occupying beds. Doctors fear the NHS may be overwhelmed in days, with frontline medics describing hospitals as war zones. Hospitals in England are hurtling towards having 20,000 coronavirus patients who need NHS treatment on New Year's Eve, according to dire projections that will bolster the calls for Number 10 to introduce another draconian lockdown in 2021. So, you know, like I said, we are on course for another national lockdown, aren't we? They have been drip feeding this propaganda for weeks. For weeks we've seen articles drip feeding this narrative to the public that we're going to be locked down in January. And I tell you what, when we have this announcement on the 30th, so a couple of days, how much, I can tell you now, and you can bet your bottom dollar, that one of the things that they're going to start to be spinning it and spinning it in this way, that because you all went out and did your Christmas shopping in November and all the shops were busy and all the shopping centres were busy, because you did that and you didn't go out and spend your money with Bezos and Amazon because you wanted to go out and support your local shops, because you did that, you know, even though we locked down in November, so you couldn't do it any other time, but because you did that, and also because the areas that aren't in tier 4, where we allowed for one day some of you to see members of your family and friends at Christmas, because you did that, even though we allowed you to do it, because you did that, going to lock you down because cases are through the roof. And we called this at the end of the last national lockdown on Arno TV at the start of December. This is exactly what I said would happen. And I called January, but I am telling you, when it comes to the next review, which is in 2 days, they are going to introduce draconian measures. You can bet your bottom dollar on it, because we're either going to be plunged into a complete national lockdown, or it's going to be tier 4 for the rest of us, or I wouldn't be even surprised if suddenly a tier 5 materialises, okay, that's more geared around this mutant strain, and it'll be like, you know, effective house arrest, where you can only go out to the supermarket for essential shopping and exercise, and that's it. And you know, you've probably got to have some you know, pass or something that you've got to show, otherwise you'll be fined. You know, is that where we're heading? Because you know, when we think 24 hours ago, the Mail put out an article saying that, you know, with the rollout of the vaccine and everything, that lockdowns will be over by February. Okay? Do you understand why I was saying how irresponsible that is? That 24 hours later, they're printing articles like this, which, you know, we're quite clearly not going to be out of lockdowns and stuff by February, and we're quite clearly going into much tougher measures in a couple of days, aren't we? So stop putting out this propaganda that suggests otherwise, okay, 24 hours earlier, okay, because, you know, today, the articles are basically saying the exact opposite, aren't they? They're saying that a lockdown is imminent, it's necessary, etc. So, this should just demonstrate why these people in the mainstream media, you shouldn't trust a word that they say, because they have proved over the course of this since March that the information that a lot of these mainstream media publications and channels and stuff have put out has proved, in retrospect, to be wildly inaccurate, hasn't it? Okay, and these people who call themselves journalists are working hand in hand with people such as Johnson, Gove, Starmer, Patel, Hancock and the like, aren't they? They're working together with these people and pushing this propaganda so that people aren't shocked when Johnson announces much tougher measures in a couple of days. That's exactly what's going to happen, and we know it is, okay? You know, so it's just a matter of, is it a national lockdown or is it tier 4 measures for the rest of us that aren't in there yet? Okay, because, you know, in that article in the Mail, you know, there's even a graph showing you, you know, how close we are to the busiest day that the NHS had in April. Let me get my words out properly. On the busiest day of the pandemic. Okay, so apparently we're approaching that with this new mutant strain running rampage that we don't even know as yet if it started in the UK or it started outside of the UK or it was just our genetic sequencing that's discovered it before, you know, other countries, because as I said a couple of days ago, Sky were reporting that there's already this strain's already been present in Sweden and France. Okay, so it's out there. Okay, and you know, we are heading for much tougher measures. Okay, I've been you know, expecting it for weeks because of the way that these stories have been ramped up and stepped up gradually, you know, with more frequency closer to Christmas. And I think the only reason why they didn't lock us down before Christmas, the rest of us, you know, apart from those that were sadly plunged into tier 4, I think the only reason why they didn't lock the rest of us down before Christmas is because Johnson pulled out that Brexit deal on Christmas Eve. If he hadn't done that, we would have all been locked down sooner, okay? And isn't it strange as well? You know, he was on TV, you know, acting all victorious over this Brexit deal, okay? But there's very little detail that I've seen so far of this Brexit deal being published. And I expect it to be, you know, I mean, obviously it's been published now, but there's been very little information out there about it from what I've seen. And I expect this deal to be Brino, okay? And for those who don't know what Brino is Brexit in name only. That's what I expect that deal to be, because, you know, the reason why I expect that is because I judge this lot, this disgusting, pathetic, disgraceful excuse for a government on past performances. And they have proved time and time and time again that they are constantly promising things that they are not capable of delivering, okay? So I wouldn't expect that Brexit deal to be anything other than Brino. And that, to me, it is not a disgrace as well, because it just makes a mockery of what people voted for in Brexit in the first place, doesn't it? But, you know, what else would you expect from people of the likes of Johnson, Starmer, Patel, Gove, Hancock and the like? And the reason why I lump Starmer in with them lot is because he's quite clearly the chief whip of the Tory party on the Labour benches, because the only thing that Starmer objects to that the government do is that the measures aren't tough enough. That's the only thing he's concerned with. Apart from that, and censoring anyone who has a different opinion to the government narrative. For example, a few weeks ago, he was on Sky TV, wasn't he, calling for anybody that spoke out in any negative way whatsoever with anything to do with the vaccine to be banned online. And not only that, the social media companies to be fined. Okay, this is the likes of people like Keir Starmer. He is working hand in hand with the government. You know, it's just a disgrace, the level of politicians that we are dealing with now in this country. At a time when we are, you know, in the biggest crisis since World War II. This is a level of disgusting, disgraceful, despicable politicians that we have running the UK. Okay, they're an absolute disgrace. And you can also count Sturgeon and Mark Drakeford in with them lot as well, because these people are also an utter disgrace with what they're doing, and there's no doubt about that. I mean, who the hell Mark Drakeford thinks he is, I don't know, because, you know, like I said a few videos ago, had anybody ever heard of Mark Drakeford? I'd never heard of him. Nobody had ever heard of him, okay? But apparently he's the First Minister of Wales who likes throwing his weight about. And I tell you what else he likes doing. He likes making supermarkets, you know, box off things like children's Christmas presents on the run up to Christmas. That's what someone like Mark Drakeford does, okay? So let's not forget that these are the kind of people that we are dealing with. And this is the disgrace of the kind of politicians that we have. And we have a media, an unquestioning media, that's working hand in hand with them, pushing their propaganda, so that when they make announcements, people are, you know, really shocked that the announcements that they're putting out. And this is how this lot are working with the, you know, this is how it has all been working from the start, okay? So anyone out there who thinks that the media are independent of people like the government, you're living in a dream world, because they are working together. It's quite clear that they are, okay? So if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, then please like and subscribe to the channel, and once you do, please ring the notification bell so I can inform you guys of forthcoming videos that I'm going to be putting out. And there's going to be a lot more coming, because it's quite clear to me that if we at Arno TV, we don't speak about the things that we do, then nobody else will, because the mainstream media won't cover any of it, okay? They're quite happy to bury their head in the sand and push out propaganda that they expect you to swallow and not to question. But anything serious that really needs talking about, and you know, the leaders, politicians, medical experts, whatever, really need to be asked some tough questions and put into task on what they're doing, they are silent, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring you guys that kind of information, okay? So I want to thank as well all the new subscribers, again, that I keep noticing coming in. I'm so thankful for all the new subscribers that are coming in. It's really great to see, you know, people leaving comments and stuff. It's fantastic. If you could share this channel with other people, even better. You know, the channel's also available as well on BitChute. And the one video that YouTube censored is still up and available to watch on BitChute, and I suggest everybody goes and watches it, okay? So I want everyone to take care of themselves, their friends, their family and their loved ones, And, you know, as I always say, please check in with people that you don't live with, because, you know, we all know people's mental health is just all over the place with this pandemic. So it'd be, you know, people who are living alone and stuff would be really appreciative, I'm sure, of a call from one of their mates or a family member just to check in with them and see how they are. So make sure you do things like that. I will be back soon with some more videos for you guys. I want to thank everybody for watching Arno TV. I'll be back soon, as I said, with some more videos very soon for you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Until I am, I want you all to take care, stay rock and roll. Thanks for watching Arno TV, and I will be back very, very soon.